Welcome back to Goo for Science. We are checking in on our yeast capturing experiments. So last week we did some dried fruit and some bread. And in the past week, the raisins, dates, and juniper berries got moldy, so we tossed them. The apricots are still going, and I've added a bit more water to them, but there's still quite a high concentration of sugar. We're just going to give you a shot of that. I hope you can see this, but you can really see the high concentration liquid sugar swirling around in there. So that we're just going to keep it going and see if anything happens maybe in the next few days. What else have we tried? So after last week's video, we also set up some fresh fruit from outside, which at this time of year was really just fruit that had sat on the tree over the winter. And so we pulled those off the tree and tried to start them up, and all of them have molded. We tried rose hips, juniper berries, crab apples, and hawthorn. And all of them molded, so pass on those. We also tried harvesting wild yeast from honey. So we put half a teaspoon of honey in a half cup of water, and it seems to be working sometimes. This is one of our samples of honey, and it's got some sediment in the bottom, which might be yeast cultures or fungus. So it smells like fruit, which tells me that it could be yeast. Here's another honey, which I'm hoping that you can see the little ball in there. That's not yeast, that's probably mold, but it's so pretty that I kind of want to keep it as a pet, away from everything else. This is a honey that seems to be working. I'm just going to give it a swirl for you so we can kick up some of that sediment. Maybe, there it goes. And all of that stuff that's coming up is yeast sediment that's falling out of solution. So the yeast concentration is high enough that the yeast are giving us a sediment, which is good. So that honey seemed to work. This is one of our commercial honeys. Not the raw honey that we tried. This one, the one with the fuzz ball, is the raw honey, but you could try it. We tried 5 different honeys in the half teaspoon to half cup of water, and 2 of them I think have given us yeast. So that's what I would try if I were trying to capture yeast from the wild. Did we look at you already? Yes, we did. And you're moldy. This one is also moldy. All of these speckles, and if you turn it on its side, you can see that filmy grossness. That's some kind of mold. So that's garbage. And the other thing that we tried is stretching our yeast. So this is a half cup of water and a teaspoon of sugar and a teaspoon of yeast, which was probably too much. You can see how much it bubbled up and tried to climb out of the glass. So I would start with a little bit less than a teaspoon. But since then, so the start was 1 teaspoon of sugar, half a cup of water, and 1 teaspoon of yeast, and then 2 days later give it an extra half teaspoon of sugar. And so at first the sediment was just a little bit, and now it's much more. So this is working for us, and even if I tap the glass, we might see some fall out of solution. I was doing it earlier. So what was I going to say? We have yeast. Stretching the yeast seems to be working. So if you already have yeast at home, just start up a culture and keep it going with that recipe that I mentioned. And what I'm going to do now is feed all of my cultures that I'm still trying to push through. So we're going to feed the honey cultures and see if we can get an appreciable amount of sediment, and then once we have about a teaspoon of each yeast, we're going to try to make something with it to see if it actually works. So we'll try to get that going, I don't know, keep you updated as we go along. Thanks for watching Goo for Science. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll see you next week.